this that I have, and I have like roughly 10 decks ready to go, is this mostly black, mono black, really splashing As Foretold, Beseech the Mirror brew that is trying to, try to see how powerful this card can be. I think we kind of have the power level absolutely maximized, where for 4 mana, this is going to be usually sacrifice a Borderpost, Talisman, or ideally a Cookbook token and cast Restore Balance to get really ahead on board, because you have a lot of your mana as artifact mana. You have Cookbook to just get your hand empty to rot their hand. You have As Foretold, Talismans, just like cards that are not going to make Restore Balance a symmetrical card, ideally a very asymmetrical effect. Even Urza Saga, like a land that dies, sometimes is going to be kind of impactful. Or Beseech the Mirror can become a Ring, Karn, or Sheoldred. Can also get you an As Foretold, right? You can get any spell, right? Yeah. You can get As Foretold if you have Restore Balance in your hand. It can turn into it that way, which I think is kind of nice. Also very cool that Profane Tutor is a card that can set you up with As Foretold, Restore Balance, Beseech the Mirror, but is also something that's just castable off As Foretold. I think that makes the card a bit more powerful. This kind of goes a little bit against my rule of playing Karn in a deck like this. I don't usually like to play it without like lots of fast mana. We do have, some amount of ramp for sure, and I generally think the card is going to play pretty well with the Restore Balance deck idea. I think it ends up being like a weirdly good win condition. So let's jump into it. I'm very excited for this one. I think of all the brews I have, this is probably the one that like looks the sweetest, but I was like pretty pleasantly surprised with how much for modern there was from Wilds of Eldraine. Nothing like Ring or Bowmaster power level, but like a surprising amount of like very fun build arounds that have a good chance to get there. Fleece for the 25, thank you. Basic with the 9 months, hope you're doing well. Okay, so this is definitely a much nicer, or I don't know, we have Borderpost finally. So this is kind of old tech. I kind of glossed over it, maybe a little bit too much in the deck tech, but the idea is that you're using your these Borderpost as your land drops. They cost 1 mana if you just return a basic land that you have to your hand, instead of costing 3 mana, and then your lands are artifacts that are not lands, and then makes Restore a symmetrical effect. My opponents played Urborg, and they've Inquisitioned me, so probably up against Coffers. Coffers is probably an awful matchup, I would guess. Is there an opportunity to sacrifice Saga after Chapter 3 triggers? Yeah, the trigger goes in the stack, and you can sacrifice it before it resolves and still get your thing. They decided to take Profane Tutor. You draw a basic land, which is maybe the worst draw here, unfortunately. While the Record Tracker is working, despite new set release, it's gonna... Okay, so probably not Coffers or the good matchups. I don't know. I'm playing for the first time. Definitely not decks with Karn, and probably not decks with counter spells. We're getting... Oh, so we're up against the Rack. The Rack is maybe a good matchup. I think I feel okay just discarding a basic. We still have 4 mana. Oh, right. I always forget that these actually have colored requirements. My brain always thinks of them as 3 colorless. Deck needs Ring Shielded. Yeah, Ring Shield are in the Zemo with the 10 months. All right, we're looking for a Beseech. We're looking for the 84 drop. I think Conference is actually matched up due to how they rely on their lands. Well, it's probably a good matchup, but Karn is like very hard to beat, would be my guess. Oh. Wrenchmine usually not going to be super duper good against us. We got their Shrieking Affliction. We're taking 3. Big top deck. Big draw. Definitely have outs, like even just Beseech for the ring here is maybe going to be difficult for my opponent to beat. 2 cards left, I guess. Taking 6 down to 10. I've drawn Ovalchase Daredevil. No, I think I'm supposed to cast it. I think it's somewhat close. So now we go to 1, and the ring is like a reverse rack. We're gonna die kind of fast. Well, maybe it like fills your hand up immediately. Yeah, I have two Beanstalk brews put together. Hopefully you can play them. So I think that this is a matchup where we want to cut the Thoughtseizes for Bowmasters. I like it. Let's do that. At the very least, we'll be able to Bowmaster there. Bowmasters. Million people to Twitch Prime, thank you. Just really don't want Thoughtseize either. That's my strongest WoE card. I did a 30-minute YouTube video. You can type exclamation point WOE and you can see what my thoughts were coming into today. Yeah, it is nice to be just actually getting to play on day one instead of spending hours scrounging for cards. Did any of my drafts of this list have preordained? No. Right, adding the Asmo package made it kind of tough to add much more than this, you know? Like, I have no idea how you could possibly add preordained. We're playing 14 lands, 8 border posts. I think the talismans are really important. Yeah, you could play them over talismans maybe, but I think I'd rather play them. Does it fill your hand immediately? It fills your hand of 3 cards immediately that can't be discarded. Yes, if you play the ring, you're never taking damage from a Shrieking Affliction or a rack the next turn. And then probably never after that because you're drawing. Okay, on the play. We have Beseech in this hand. We have 3. Yeah, I think this deck is very sweet. Time will tell if it's any good, but I agree. I always like to try to lead with the brew that I think is the sweetest, and I think this one is like pretty easily the sweetest. So, yeah, in this scenario, taking 2 damage off the ring. Star Beach, Sacra, Food, and Borderpost, and Talisman, yeah. And like kind of Saga, because Saga G-Cook. We have 20 enablers, so Beseech should almost always be online. Damon with the 15 months, thank you. Also, sometimes you'll just have As Foretold in play, and you will just cast Beseech and just bounce into your hand and cast it off As Foretold. Have a good holiday weekend? Pretty good weekend. It wasn't really much of a holiday weekend for me, which is like, wow, they made. Okay, they took the new card, and maybe they're thinking about surgical extraction with that case. And they're thinking about my Urza Saga trigger. They decide to let it resolve. Kind of nice that they drew Wrenchmind to have an artifact to discard here too. They're also an Urza Saga deck. Okay, they name Urza Saga. Interesting here that they just decided to go ahead and name it. Oh, I can't cast this Borderpost. Do it the usual way. Next turn I can cast an Asmo. If I want to. I probably will. A little bit awkward to balance in my hand. Try Beseech and double cast. Is that like a 2-mana? Any of these like 2-mana copiers? I don't know how excited I can get about it. Yeah, it's like you would need that to be like some like 0-mana enabler. I'm not sure how you do that though. Oh, whoops! I forgot to float mana. Reading a comment as per usual. I'd floated mana. I could have got my opponent down to 0 lands. As it stands, we'll settle for this, I guess. Then down to 1 land and 2 cards in their hand. So I'll discard. Well, I guess we'll put this on the stack. Then discard the Daredevil. Choose to not return it. So they play Bowmaster, which it does deal damage, but it's gonna die. Not really the most impactful. They decided to keep their Urza Saga. I guess that gets them the rack. I'm kind of surprised to see them keep the Saga. If I remember to float mana. Yeah, I'd love to see the spell shift versions, Toborg, if if you have like one good one or one good enough one. They discard 2 more copies of Orcish Bowmaster. Yeah, this card sucks. Very funny. It's not too often you see an opposing board state, which is 2 Urza Sagas and a Pithing Needle naming Urza Saga. That's maybe a first for me. We also get to destroy both of them, which is, to say the least. Not be surprised if this was, yeah. Go to game 3. Definitely a matchup of top decks, and we top deck. Good hand. We're gonna keep. Kind of hard to mulligan. Puts on a mold of 6. It's good. Deck that's all like 1 mana. You discard a card. Love when they're on the play of the mulligan to 6. I have no idea what they're gonna take. Borderpost is their pick, and they Chalice on 0. Okay, so we need to find a Karn to beat Chalice on 0. Thankfully, we have Beseech the Mirror. Profane Tutor won't get the. Although we lost our thing to sacrifice for the Karn. Salmon with the gifted sub. Thank you. Trying to cast a spell. They only have 3 cards. Probably a Wrenchmind. We're gonna brew coffers with Beseech. Maybe here's the thing. Like everybody on Twitter is just tweeting, Beseech is nuts in coffers, but I think people are starting to realize, oh, this is like a card with significant deck building restrictions. This is, I have here, like, here we have a version of a Beseech deck that is playing, like, I could honestly hold this, but I want to have it in play for the Beseech. I could hold it for Wrenchbind. We have a version of a Beseech deck that is just like max enablers, basically, with like the cookbooks, which are like great things to sacrifice. You have 8 Borderposts, Urza Saga for cookbook. You have Talisman. Traditional coffers are very far away from having enough enablers, and also traditional coffer decks like Liliana the Veil. Let's go. Traditional coffer decks also are like not even wanting to. Like, play more 4-drops. You already have so many 4-drops, so it's kind of a weird dynamic. I think I would probably like to hold my Urza Saga, so I can I guess they have the Urborg in play, but I want to be able to go Beseech, Karn, plus on Chalice, then cast Restore Balance, maybe, and then maybe that also involves playing my Saga next turn. I guess the Restore Balance. Oh, what are they needling? They have not seen Karn, so they probably needle the ring. I have a way to kill the needle. I don't think I can kill Needle. Maybe play 1 copy of a False Beseech 4. It's just like 4 mana to less Rhinos in the deck that doesn't have like any beat that good. I wouldn't play it. Obviously the payoffs are fantastic. Karn, Ring, Sheoldred challenge. Yeah, but it's also like are the payoffs fantastic? People have said this a few times. The payoffs for Siege in the Coffers deck is fantastic, but you're kind of just like, I mean, you're just spending 4 mana for your favorite 4-drop at the moment. It isn't like the most crazy thing, you know what I mean? First time casting Beseech. Do you think we have to get Karn? Karn can answer the Liliana and the Chalice. Just double checking that is true, but yeah, I think that is true. I mean, we could get the ring here. We could get the ring off the Karn also. I'm gonna go ahead and needle the Liliana now, just in case they have another needle in their deck for my Karn. Karn to balance. Yeah, at the moment, Restore Balance is not doing anything. Next turn it can kill a construct. Karn can deal with needle if you draw Bowmasters. That's true. Yeah, they do have a second needle in their deck, which is fortunate. They do name Karn, so we can no longer deal with this. And they drew another Saga as like easily the best top deck they could have had. Probably just a plus. The fact that they top deck the Urza Saga is just like there's just no other card in their deck is nearly that good that turn. There's a needle on Karn. Is why don't kill Chalice? Why don't kill? Should have destroyed Chalice instead of needle. So I destroyed Chalice. And then the Liliana ticks up, and then I'm dealing with the Liliana ultimate the next turn. I have no way to not deal with the Liliana ultimate, or to not get Liliana ultimated. So it would seem I would still be in pretty bad position. Can't cast the Orb because of the Chalice, but maybe the Chalice was just unbeatable. I also like drew the Profane Tutor afterwards, and like these balances were not doing a lot at the time when I made my decision. I don't know. Could we have sacked Saga instead, plus on Chalice and restore so you can't make a contract? Sacked Saga instead. Plus on Chalice, then restore so they can't make a construct. How are we sacking the Saga? Ring? Okay, no. Instead of Borderpost. Sack Saga to bargain. I see. Yeah, maybe that was a better line. Maybe that was a better line. No idea if this hand is good. It is nice that we can try to Zuran Orb for... What? 2x? Oh, they're just mono blue. Mono blue. They may end up cracking a map instead of ice. But if I play the Saga, they're definitely going to ice possible. They drew a counterspell, we got mono blue Tron. I will cast the Profane Tutor this turn, I think, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm supposed to get. Probably supposed to get a Restore Balance. The problem is I don't want to cast Restore Balance for 2 turns until until I can get my Zuran Orb in play. I guess I could also Beseech the Mirror. I could Beseech the... oh, wait, no, I can't, because I had to get my island. Never mind, I can't actually cast Beseech now. Weird game. Let's see what we draw. I'm gonna have to fade a Karn. I will cast this As Foretold, this Asmo, despite the fact that it's just going to die to my Restore Balance next turn. I think I also hold my lands because of the Restore Balance. But I want to be able to attack a Karn if they draw a Karn. Also because they're mono blue Tron, like if they have remand, they can stop me from resolving Restore Balance next turn. But for the most part, like I just shouldn't be able to. There's Greater Gargadon when you most need it. Well, we have a tutorable Greater Gargadon. It is very... oh, look, that's good for me. Now I get to keep my Asmo. It is so weird to cast Asmo without having to discard. Like, it's like a very fun synergy with As Foretold in this deck. Okay, so I've never seen Mono Blue Tron play Force of Negation, but it's Mono Blue Tron. They can do whatever the hell they want. We're not going to celebrate too early. Reprieve, would you main deck in blue-black control? Well, I think that's a trick question. Reprieve is not a blue or a black card, so... do I want to discard something here? I probably will discard a... the Beanstalk yet? You're looking... this is the first deck we're playing. I don't know. I have two, like, a good Up the Beanstalk drafts. We will definitely be playing them this week. Okay. That feels pretty good. Getting some revenge on... no, we can't Beseech this turn. I think that, you know, Armageddon is going to be plenty good with me having the As Foretold and some pressure. Not even sure if I want to play... they had Subtlety in their hand, wow. I was a little bit surprised that they discarded that. I guess it's fine. Yeah, we didn't have triple black mana anyways. Back up Asmo. Why do we play the Borderpost instead of... well, we could have discarded a land or played the lands. I guess we didn't have enough mana to play Asmo and play Borderpost. Holy shit. Like, I guess we have to restore balance again. It's actually kind of crazy that they just built. Is there Asmo also if we restore balance? Well, you can't sack Asmo to Beseech. You have to sacrifice a token artifact. Oh, wait, but if I... oh, sorry. I forgot that I just cast 3. You could have played the Borderpost by bouncing a land instead of sacrificing. No fucking way they have Force of Negation in their deck. Okay, it's kind of sick, I guess. So completely wrecked. As well sacrifice this. I don't even know why I didn't sacrifice my stuff. I messed up. So only mono blue Tron do you like see their hand, they have 0 Tron pieces, you destroy 4 of their lands with restore balance, and then immediately after that they just have Tron again. Yeah, they should have just let it resolve. Well, you have to do it before it resolves. Like, I just put it on the stack and like they could have just let it resolve and then nothing would happen. I guess I just haven't played Magic all day. Maybe playing this bad. It's fine. I also, again, this is the second time I've missed the line of As Foretold into 0 drop. Still waking up. Put Beseech in the stack. Oh, they forced the Beseech. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize they forced the Beseech and not the... why don't they have Tron? They have Tron in their hand. They just like... their main phase icing my swamp. What does that mean? Do a ring? I mean, if they have a Force of Negation blue card, I think blue Tron with ring is good. I don't know. It is a hard deck to play against. Certainly concede that. This is As Foretold. They have 2 cards in their hand. If they have another Force of Negation and another blue card, bless them. But don't really see much point in trying to get their hand empty since they have the ring. Can't cast this Asmo this turn. No need to attack with the Asmo there, of course, since they have protection. One ring is plenty to win. Oh, no. It's kind of dangerous when they have you have no lands ticking it up. Kind of weird that they just also chose not to tap it, like when they did. That was kind of an interesting. Didn't tap it, tapped it. Well, they didn't tap it end of turn, and then on their turn they tapped it. It was kind of weird. But yeah, okay, we'll see. Very confusing game. Very good draw. Is it right to just get Coating? I can cast Coating. Yeah, another Force of Negation. Does get me, I was about to say. They do have another Force of Negation. Pitching. They have another Force of Negation plus Tron? That's going to be kind of a big question. They also can't take a hit and take ring damage this turn. They have the third power plant. Yeah, I don't know why I'm so quiet. I did drop my microphone. I don't know if it's damaged or anything. Everything is the same. It's turned up to the max. It is plugged in all the way. I unplugged it and plugged it back in. It doesn't feel loose at all. Such a weird deck. Yeah, there's a lot of bugs from this this set release. Normally you're very loud compared to other streamers. I get feedback that I'm way quieter all the time. We'll see. Any prowess love soon? So everybody wants to play prowess with the Otter card. The Otter is like, the more I think about it, the less I'm excited about it. Could end up switching my opinion at some point, but how I'm feeling at the moment is that I'm not that excited about the Otter. I'm not that excited about the Otter. I am really excited about the adventure creature that you get to adventure, Reckless Impulse, and then you also have a Quirion Dryad. Like, the fact that it's both, like, effectively a prowess creature and a, it's a prowess creature and it's a card draw spell all in one is really exciting to me. I think that that's the better prowess card. I have a list with it ready to go. We'll play it at some point, but I have like 10 decks to go, and it, you know, I want to give each of the decks some love. So we've got a lot of content for a while. You can expect streams to be longer than they've been, more exciting than they've been, hopefully. I'll just try to talk right into the mic and then maybe play around it with it later. Richard knowledge be playable in automatic decks? I think so. You could. I said if you had watched my video, you would know that I think so. Also, I can play Urza Saga this turn, or I can play a Borderpost, and the next turn I can go Thoughtseize plus Suspend a Profane Tutor. Let's do that. And if they have Karn on turn 4 through a Thoughtseize, good beats. How long until we add Amulet untapped Borderpost? That sounds very fun. Can I explain why I didn't want a Thoughtseize Tron with this hand? If we Thoughtseize, so I don't have Watery Grave in this deck because you need basics for the Borderpost. So if I got Swamp Thoughtseize, I just don't have any blue mana, and I want to have blue mana. So you have Condescend, Force of Negation, Repeal, Island Stevens, Urza's Tower. So they do have natural Tron, and not a lot to do with it. Kind of, you know, classic Tron situation. I think that I'm supposed to take Condescend, suspend Profane Tutor, and then try to trade Karn for Force of Negation next turn. Obviously, if they top deck a big payoff, or we can get them off Tron and things can be bad. So they play the Island. Pass back, Tutor ticks down. Zuran Orb. I guess we throw it out there just in case they ever counter this. I mean, they're thinking about it. Seems kind of like a Hail Mary. The top deck Subtlety, which sucks. For me. I don't know what we're doing. I think I'm going to bottom. Explain why Borderpost are viable mana blocks for this deck? Yeah, I mean, they just play very well with Restore Balance, is all it is. They both, like, put an artifact, a mana rock into play, which is good with balance because it's not something that's affected by it. And it, is also, like, removes a land from play, which also is good with balance, too. Have Tutor coming down anyways? Yeah. Okay, they're activating Hall to just try to put me on a 2-turn clock with Force of Negation up. Pretty good line. They force the Profane Tutor, which is, like, just not correct. I think they need to be forcing what I get off the Tutor. Not that I have a super good chance of living, no matter what happens, but I'm not dead. I can sack a food. What are my outs even? How do I survive 2 turns? I guess I have to draw. If I can draw Asmo, I can survive 2 turns. What if you get a creature? Am I ever getting They think I'm ever getting Asmo here? Why didn't we make constructs? Well, I knew they had Repeal in their hand, so making constructs didn't seem like. You know what the force engagement was? You get a non-creature. Well, it's just mostly that Asmo doesn't do enough here, but I guess that makes enough sense. They also have like condescend or repeal for a creature. Yeah, maybe Sheoldred was enough of a reason. It just like when they force it though, they let me like resolve like non-creature stuff this turn. Irrelevant. Urza's Tower, Academy Ruins, map, Karn, Ring, Condescend. Well, I'll give them the fact that I don't know what to take. Thinking map seems fine. Since they have double 4-drop. Is a one of Manufacturer not worth it here? Yeah, this is a restore balance deck. This is not a deck that wants to play Manufactor. So Beanstalk and 4-color Omnath. You should be trying it. I have a Bant control Beanstalk deck built, and I have a Naya Beanstalk deck built. I'm a little bit more interested personally in trying some of like the less conventional, less obvious builds like that. But I think Beanstalk is going to be a good card, and it seems like it'll be a fine option in 4-color Omnath. 2 more Asmos, which is a little weird. That being said, I think it's going to be a good game this game. Just go turn 3 Sheoldred after the Thoughtseize into make a Saga token, get a Cookbook, cast an Asmo. I hate Mono Blue Tron so much. I hate the deck. How do they draw like this? There's so many dead cards. Let's grit my teeth. Cast the Sheoldred and hope they didn't find Power Plant also. They do at least have a second Urza's Tower, so they can play a 4-drop this turn. Neither Ring nor Karn are great into the Sheoldred. Are you gonna stream the Beanstalk deck? Yeah, I'm planning to stream it. That's what we do here. But we got a lot of decks to play. I know like most people were relatively low on Wilds of Eldraine, thinking there wasn't that much. There is a lot from Wilds of Eldraine that is good. Think Dig or Treasure Cruise would be fine in Modern? Nope, I do not. Otter and Prowess? Maybe. Again, I've said this a few times today. I feel like everybody else is hyped for the Otter and Prowess, but for me, I like the Druid. Questing Druid. I think Questing Druid is just so much better. It's a combination Reckless Impulse Prowess creature. It's not a very good Prowess creature, but also not a very bad Prowess creature either. Wow, they plus the Karn. Good play. The Druid is awkward for me that only play the cards the turn you cast it. Can you not do it on instep? Excellent. Top creature library play until your next instep. Yeah, no, you can just go on your opponent's instep, cast it. Ring plus on Ring. What a gamer, dude. So I can't even Borderpost because they're turning off my mana rocks. Can't cast any of these Asmos. They can't tap the Ring for whatever that's worth, and I can't make a... Use the Prowess trigger on your turn. Well, you can also cast it on your turn. What are we talking about? If it's on turn 2, you'll play it on. If it's on turn 2, you'll play it on your opponent's turn, instep, and if any turn after, you probably just play it on your main phase. But the card is not literally Reckless Impulse Prowess creature. Like it's an adventure, so it's like a slightly worse version of both of those. But it's interesting because it is both. And it's like when you have two cards that are like pretty close to playable in Modern, and you like, I don't think we need a second cookbook. You have 2 cards that are pretty close to playable in Modern, and you take both of them and just slap them together. You just get both in one card. It's pretty exciting, and I think it's more exciting than 1/1 Prowess. Probably can't be blocked. Plus like 1 mana trigger Prowess, which is not terrible. The Otter is not terrible, but it's also just not. It's probably not better than Soulscar Mage. It's at the very least not really much different from Soulscar Mage. Or Swift Spear. I guess Mage is it is way different from Swift Spear because no haste. It's just not that exciting to me. It's not as exciting as the Druid is. Is it better than the XX Rabbit? It's different. The XX Rabbit just goes in very different shells. I don't know if the Rabbit is going to be a card that really can see any play in Modern. It's possible that it is. I'm really not sure. So they do have Tron. They beat Ugin here if they have Ugin, right? Yeah, I think they just started to cast Ugin and then stopped. They have Ulamog, Ballista 5. So they can kill my Sheoldred and make me sack my lands. I just hate mono blue Chario. Might as well sack my lands before they can. Not believe how good that Emrakul is. I can put them to 6 next turn. Not enough to kill them. It was once said. No, my opponent doesn't have. My opponent is punting. I'm of the opinion that Emrakul the Promised End is the most misplayed card of all time. It has the highest percentage of misplays when you cast it, because you're just not used to playing your opponent's deck, and every time you cast it, it's like a weird and unique one. It's so easy to miss like one small thing. Here, my opponent has missed a really big thing. A really big thing. They could have just discarded any card, had Asmo kill the Sheoldred, attacked a construct into the Emrakul, kept their Emrakul. Now, they're just dead. Now they're just dead. It's GG's Mono Blue Tron. I think Hornlocked Whale could be playable in some sort of control deck. It was. I talked about it a little bit in my video. I really don't like that card very much, though. It's kind of briefly a radar card. Actually, the radar card section didn't even make the video on accident. Remember, and yeah, I did. Remember doesn't do it. I don't think there's any. Okay, I guess they can have Nourishing Shoal and Worldspine Worm. That would get them out of this. Actually, not if I had played the second cookbook. Okay, 1-1. Maybe it wasn't obvious from the Moto interface. I don't know how you can blame the Moto interface on that one. It's okay. It's it's a complicated game. There are cards like Wasteland in Modern. There's Ghost Quarter. There's Field of Ruin. Those cards are like Wasteland. Could they print Wasteland into Modern? Nope. It's just like there's just a big difference between these kind of. I'm gonna go to 4. I think that your balanced decks can try to mulligan somewhat aggressively. In practice, we'll see, I guess. Oh, Thoughtseize me up. Probably unplayable. Okay, I mean, this was like certainly the best draw. Second league, yeah, we 0-1 dropped the first league to add the Zuran Orb, and then now we're here. I mean, we are doing really well against anything besides discard. It has to be kind of like casually. I guess we have Urza Saga against Blood Moon, but at least Blood Moon is very rarely gonna and is all mana rocks and basics. Get their own talisman. We'll take that. I think actively happy they didn't cast the talisman, since I've got a pretty clear plan. Why not play Leyline of Sync? Why not stream? If you're talking about the sideboard, I usually try not to put too much. Like I put thought and effort into the sideboard, but the sideboards just are not very realistic to have tuned coming out of the gates. Yeah, I somehow, some way they just did not have a discard effect this game. They get to keep their treasures, they get to keep their flipped Fable. But they do have to sacrifice 2 lands, discard a card, sack all their. I think it would be way too greedy. Draw on top Sorcery Ring. Yeah. If we had been able to cast the ring instead of draw the Thoughtseize on casting the Mirror Fairies, well. So like I think Sleep Curse Fairy is awful. I think the card is like not modern playable, not Pioneer playable. It was kind of some people have suggested playing this with Power Conduit. I think that is kind of interesting, where if you go turn 1, Sleep Cursed Fairy, you get to go untap 2 stun counters, then play Power Conduit, remove a stun counter, put a counter on it, and then you get to do it again, and then it's like a 5/5 flying Ward 2. That's kind of interesting, and then you can also maybe play Urza Saga Aether Vial, put your charge counters on your Aether Vial. That's kind of like the direction I would go with this deck. Bait transfer. Remove all counters from target creature to another. Does it draw a card? It seems. Restore balance. So yeah, that's the direction I would go. I'm not very excited about you should play 4 Fatal Push. You should play 0 Ancestral Vision. You should not play Ancestral Vision in a deck with Snapcaster. Like right here you have 12 cards for your Snapcasters. Like, Snapcaster is not a very good card in this build at the moment. You should have 4 Fatal Push every time. It's -X until end of turn. Creature gets an additional -3. If you control a fairy, this card seems awful. Alright, come on. Restore. Damn. Oh, wait, I guess that. So that buys us some time. Can't really tap the ring. Gives us another draw step. But we can also now draw more outs. Although they put me to 2, yeah. NRC with the 6, thank you. I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of like fairy copium. You know what I mean? Like I know the fairy players really wanted there to be a good new card. There was not a good new card, and that's sad. But also, like, you're playing a lot of fairy cards that are really, really bad. Like Forager is terrible in the stack. The Fairy Fencing is terrible. You're only playing 2 Fatal Push. Your Snapcasters are really bad. You can clean it up a lot, I think. I think you can clean this list up a lot. But I don't really recommend. Especially when, like, the blue-black ring deck, I would recommend, if that's something you're interested in, maybe playing that instead. 1 mana -3 seems okay. And the thing is, the problem with this card, 1 mana -3/-3, it's worse than Fatal Push, like, period. Like there's almost nothing in the format that this lines up better than against Fatal Push. This lines up better than against Fatal Push besides Fury. It's like exactly Fury that this kills that Push doesn't. But also you cannot kill a turn 1 Ragavan with this card. Your opponent will play Ragavan. You'll look at this. You don't have a fairy in play on turn 1. You might not even have a fairy in play turn 2. You're even like relatively likely to not have a fairy in play turn 2. This card is just not good. Yeah, I think the Saga Power Conduit angle is the only way to make this new card like even remotely interesting to me. But like this is modern. We have really good removal spells here. You can play that card in Pioneer maybe. Yeah, Pepper Smoke is okay, but I'm not that excited about it. Fury 22 months ago, thank you. Elusive Otter is bugged. You cannot cast the Aventura Moda. Well, wasn't when I was super. Do you know about the Questing Druid? Actually, that's kind of a bigger question, but thank you for the heads. Oh, were there not? Yeah, you should be playing 4 Aether Vials for sure. I thought there were vials. If there weren't vials, there should be vials. Yeah, Magic Online seems weird because I didn't feel like this set was super complicated. Opponents today, I wonder if there's like lag issues. First Throne of Eldraine breaks the formats. The second, so pretty. Gentle, yeah. No, we might play that in a set. I might just play it now. Like my opponent's just taking so long, and I have the Karn, but I'm gonna have a time casting the Karn in time for it to save me. Maybe that's not true though. We'll play it out, but I'll build deck in a second. They're probably not correct to sack the treasure instead of tapping the talisman. The Gen Saga Turtle, yeah, but I mean it also has the combo with the Lava Claw Reaches. Pro Chance, I spent like 2 weeks trying to figure out a brew with moderation in Aether Vial. I could not figure it out. Maybe one day I'll crack the code, but I have given up for a while. Okay, let's play the turtle deck. Okay, this is the Moxfield Stream Decker.